Hello, good evening, and welcome to a special edition of Friday Night Live with Joe and Chaps. First time we're doing this, Joe, so we're going to see how it goes. Start getting your comments in. But Joe, how are you, mate? It's been a while since we've been on one of these together.
Yeah, no, it's going all right, mate. It's going all right. I feel a little bit knackered at the moment. I went for a bike ride earlier with my son's off school, and it's quite weird. The last time I went on a mountain bike ride with him was about 2 years ago. He was about 13, 14 at the time. And it was as long as I can remember, I always say to him, hurry up, catch up. He's like, I can't, Dad. I'm always pushing him on. 2 years later, he's now 15, going to be 16. And he's like tearing off ahead with me. He's telling me to hurry up and catch up. And my legs were literally shot to pieces when I got back. So I jump in a shower, sort myself out, and then crack open a beer and sit here with you. So that's my story so far today. How's your day been?
Mate. Very nice. Yeah, mate. I mean, I haven't been out bike riding. I've been working, been to the gym, and unfortunately, I'm drinking a Pepsi Max and not a beer. It's nice though. Mango.
Oh, there you go. That's a new one, isn't it?
Mm.
So in the chat, guys, I don't know how many are in there at the moment. Just want to see what you guys are drinking. What's everyone having this evening? What beers are we having? Are we drinking beers? Are we drinking, ciders? Are we on the soft drinks at the moment? What's the crack at the moment? I'm on the I'm not promoting this, but it's quite decent. I'm on the Camden Pale Ale, which is quite a nice.
See, I'd be interested to see what people are saying in the chat. For me,
not a bit of you.
I don't like Pale Ale. It's
you know what?
A lager for me, or
yeah, I agree. I think I was into lagers at one time, and then as I kind of get older, you experiment a bit more with like ales and things like that. It is a required taste.
Your age again, Joe. That's 2 comments now, mate.
I know what's wrong with me. I better stop this. But it does feel like it just seems like it's a nice sort of drink. It's a different kind of taste. It's something different from lager, I guess, But no, it's all good. So what's the
Stephen's comment in the chat? Pale Ale and Pepsi Max. Pretty shocking, to be fair, isn't it? I've got an excuse though, so I'm right.
Yeah, Gaz London is drinking a cup of tea, bit of Rosalie at the moment. So what's Dave's? David Squire's drinking Crystal Punch. What's Crystal Punch?
Is that the David? Is that the new beer on draft at the Den?
Oh, is it?
No, I'm taking a mick. But a genuine question to everyone. If anyone was at the Charlton game and you had a beer, what was it like? I'd love to know that. I am, we've always struggled, didn't we, for a decent drop at Millwall. Don't suppose you had a beer the other night, Joe, at Charlton game, did you?
You know what? I was in a bit of a rush for the Charlton game. So I was outside messing about as you do by the Blue Bus, having a couple of beers there. And I rushed inside, grab a pie and a beer. I think just ordered my normal Carlsberg, whatever they got on tap.
Oh, they still do it?
I think so. To be fair, I just asked for a lager. I don't know what it was. And then literally I had to run out to get my seats. I downed the pint, went inside, and So I couldn't really sort of tell you, to be honest with you. Oh, Mike Paternoster is on the old San Miguel.
Good man.
David Squire. David Squire's water. So that's what Crystal Punch is. It's water, is it?
Punch. I think that's his term for it.
Yeah.
Donna's on
a G&T.
Love that.
And what's Enzo on? Enzo is he's not drinking anything. Brilliant. No, you're right. I mean, just what Enzo just said, it's good to be back watching Millwall again. I think it was a good atmosphere. You didn't make it, did you, for the Charlton one? You couldn't make it.
No, I couldn't make it. I watched it on the telly, and
yeah,
I mean, the less said about that first half, the better, right?
Well, that's it. Yeah, I mean, that first half was a bit cack. I mean, you can see don't get it wrong. I mean, Charlton. Everyone keeps saying, "Oh, we don't care about the result." We did care about the result. We didn't want to lose. It wasn't about winning, not necessarily winning against Charlton. It's about not losing. We want to carry this on, don't we? And Charlton, when we took 1-0 up, 2-0 up, they were making so much noise. So that second half made a big difference with the substitutions. We played a lot better, and to go back and get a draw at the end, we could have got a win. To be fair, it was quite pleasing. It's quite satisfying. Just have a little dig at Charlton again, I suppose. Do you see the goals though? Did you see the goals?
Yeah, I watched the whole game. I thought,
what do you think of it?
We'll talk a bit about Nesbitt, or Nisbet. Sorry, get his name right, or Big Kev, Nizzy, or whatever you want to call him. But I thought his finish was superb. You can just tell that he's just got that air of class about him. And what I'm hoping is if he does play the two through the middle and with Bradshaw, is Bradshaw sticks to what he's good at, which is link up play, running the channels, effort, still popping up with the odd goal in terms of being at the right place at the right time. But in terms of our leading the line, prolific goal scorer, Nisbet looks the real deal, doesn't he, Joe?
Yeah, I agree. So with Bradders, I always felt he needed some upside along him. When he had a phobia with him, he was kind of like the poacher, and then you get the big guy next to him, sort of winning the headers, holding the ball up, and doing all that. And I guess looking at Nisbet in a short period of time I've seen him play, he seems to have that a little bit in his locker. Unlike Bradshaw, he can actually hold the ball up. His positioning is good. The runs he makes are very, very good. And I think he came out on, is it News at Den recently? I think it might be yesterday, Nisbet. And he talked about partnering Bradshaw, and he can't see why the two of them can't form a partnership together this season. So that's quite good. I mean, Bradshaw is a lovely guy. You can see he's a really lovely guy. And it's just quite funny how that bromance with him and Phobie, and now he's kind of like fucked a Phobie off. He's all over Nisbet now, because now Nisbet's singing his praises, saying what a great guy he is, and he wants to play out front with him. So
I don't think you can dislike Bradders, though, can you? Like, it's difficult to dislike him. He's just such a nice, honest, hardworking. He's like living our dream, isn't he? And I think he knows that, and I think he's just a really down to earth bloke. Speaking of a Phobie, did you see he's back in England training with Arsenal under 18s?
Yeah, so apparently he was only in Dubai for a few months. I thought he was there for like majority of the season, and he's there like this season, but it wasn't the case. He was there for a few months. And like you say, he's back over here training with Arsenal at the moment. So what's that about then? Would you have him back?
No, I wouldn't. No. I think, to be honest, and I don't blame him, because obviously the things that he's had go on in his life, hats off to him, whatever he does. I think he's earned his money from football now. And I thought he moved to Dubai because, and we're digressing here, but we'll go in a second. I thought he moved to Dubai because he's an avid sort of property investor. And I thought that was kind of coupled with the move, if you like. But the fact he's back already maybe suggests otherwise. I don't know. But no, I wouldn't take him back. I think we need to be looking beyond him now, to be honest. Yeah.
And in all honesty, I think we're not on his radar either. I get the impression, I think he's lost that bit of fire in his belly. Exactly. He's made a bit of money. He's got properties out in Dubai, and I don't think he's right for us as much as we're not right for him. So good luck to him. Hope he enjoys his life and whatever he does. But I won't be surprised if he retires next season. And this is last season somewhere in the lower divisions.
Well, season knackered and all, in they. You got that as well to play into the mix.
Exactly. So. But going back to Nisbet, I mean, from what I've seen in him, I think he can play the lone striker role as well. He seems to have a bit about him in regards to, like I said, just the way he holds up, the moves he makes. I mean, against Charlton, there was a majority of the time he was actually up there on his own, and the runs he was making and his first touch, and not just his first touch, but his way he sort of took the ball in the direction he took it out. He's just very, very clever. Yeah, he's looking around. He's a team player. He's trying to pick out his teammates. He's got an eye for goal as well. And it's just really good to see. And I'm glad the fans that were there watching them against Charlton got a taste of what Nisbet's about. And I've seen him against Sutton as well. I thought he looked really lively against Sutton. Looked quite handy scoring a hat-trick there. I'll tell you what, I wouldn't be surprised if he scores 20 goals this season, 20-plus goals. And I think the last person to do that was, if I'm not mistaken, will that be Lee Gregory?
Oh, I think it depends if you mean at championship level or not.
That's true, because you probably would have done it at League One. So at going back to championship level, I don't think we look pretty about Teddy Sheringham days, didn't we?
No, I'm sure Darius Henderson got.
Did he get 20 plus?
I'm sure he did. There was a season we almost went down, but he literally scored everything that we scored. Everything went through him. I'm sure he might be. I mean, question to the group, to those of you listening. Who was the last player that scored 20 goals in the championship? I don't know if Morrow got 20 before he moved to Norwich. I'm not sure.
Because we were in a second tier then, weren't we? When he got the move to the Premier League.
Yeah.
So
I think he Morrow or Henderson.
He might have been. You're right, absolutely. I think that could be the one. We've got a question here from Ken Clark. If you want to ask this one, chaps.
So read it out.
Yeah, is this Fleming's last game for the Lions? Do you think Burnley have got him just so that it's allowed him to play against his old club?
I think that's a really interesting question. And I think honestly, I don't know, right? I don't know if that's true or not. But what I would say is it would be a very risky move from Burnley, wouldn't it, if that was the case, in terms of having agreement in place, committing to spending 10, 12, 15 million pounds, and then allowing him to play. I think it would also be, from the club's perspective, I would imagine there would have been an agreement with Fortuna, either as part of his deal or just a gentleman's agreement, I don't know, that meant we had to play them. And it would look very odd, I guess, if he wasn't part of that game. So I can understand the perspective from Ken in terms of putting 2 and 2 together, getting 4. I know a lot of people are also saying he doesn't look interested in the friendlies, but I think that they're just friendlies. And Joe, you and I know as well that Fleming at times drifts in and out of games, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Like he's not
done all last season, really.
All last season, but he would pop up at moments of. I remember the Rotherham game away. I don't think he did anything other than score an absolute worldie. That's what Fleming does. So I don't know. I mean, if he does go after that, I just hope the club have got reinforcements lined up, because we've got a week to the season. We lose one of our key players. That would be really, really good. So, I don't know if that answers your question, Ken, but that's my perspective on it. Joe, what's your view on that?
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult. Like I said, for all we know, and again, this is just speculating here. I don't know anything. It's just me guessing. Yeah, in today's football, the way things are with money and contracts and what you say, what you can't say, and all the secretive stuff going on, I wouldn't be surprised if it's gone quiet with Burnley and we're not hearing much because a deal's been done. We don't know. And like you say, the deal is, you know what, we're going to sign, but we're going to let him play the friendlies against Fortuna Sittard, and then straight after that he will then leave and join Burnley. We don't know. It's very, very difficult. I hope that's not the case, because the longer it's going, the longer it's dragging on, the more I want to keep Zian for this season, thinking, well, with the players we've got at the moment, he will probably be good to have rather than not have. I think we're leaving it so late now towards the end of the season. Yes, we'll have some money in the bank, but who's out there? What can we get with the money? Is it going to be panic buying? We're going to buy the wrong players. So it's a difficult one.
Unless, if that is the case, then we've already done the same thing with the people we're replacing him with.
Well, exactly. We might have a couple.
You know what I mean? So it's like a
people in mind
agreement with the
That's
players
true.
we're bringing in.
I don't. Sorry, go on. There you go.
No, I was going to say, I don't think if he does go, I don't think one of the replacements will be Callum Stiles. Unfortunately, I would have liked him to have come back, but I don't think that will be the case.
Okay. Going back to our question in regards to the last player scored 20 goals for us in the second tier, the Championship. We've got lots of mentions here for Claridge from Mr. Nate 19 and Wall Lion suggested maybe Henderson and Morrison, 19 goals each, he thinks. So I don't know how you feel about that, but that could be there could be good contenders. I'll definitely go for Morrison. I think he was definitely up there from memory. Next question, Chris, and it's something I spoke about earlier, is with Fleming at the moment. He does drift in and out of games. Sometimes you do question, is he deserving of a starting place? Is he guaranteed a starting place? One thing that I noticed, I'm sure a lot of people noticed as well, and I think Chris Brown just mentioned it here as well, is Essay. He's had a great pre-season. He looks lively. He looks dangerous. He got great assists for Imaku against Charlton, and does look like he stepped up another level this pre-season. Would you say that he would be, the obvious choice for this weekend, stepping into number 10 to cover for Fleming? For Middlesbrough, sorry, if Fleming goes?
I think that if Fleming's here and he's here to stay, Fleming should start above SA. Right. My opinion. Okay. I think based on pre-season, you would change that, and I think you would say that SA would start. But we all know that pre-season doesn't necessarily count for anything. I think what SA's done in pre-season is shown that he is going to be a vital part of this team moving forwards, and he will get a lot more game time this season, whether that is starting in addition to Fleming or instead of, or from the bench. I think the other thing I like about him, Joe, in pre-seasons, I think he seems to have bulked up a bit.
Yeah.
I think he needs to bulk up a bit more. I'm not going to lie. I don't think he's the finished article, but he seems to have bulked up a bit. And that's why I think he can play in these more central positions.
Yeah.
And if we're going to play the formation, which I think we are, which is a 5-3-2, then we're not going to be playing with wingers. So therefore, SA has to adapt. Otherwise, he doesn't feature, right? So that would be my take. Would you, so hypothetical, Middlesbrough game comes and they're both here and available. What would you do?
I think you've got to go with Fleming, ain't you? I mean, he's clearly the obvious choice. I think, as good as SA is, I think he'll only be an impact player this season. It's going to be very, very difficult to fit him into this formation if we're just playing with two up front at the moment. And it looks like it might be Bradshaw and Nisbet with Amaku coming on. But if you're looking to play,
he really impressed me, by the way, Amaku.
Imaku, yeah, same here. Looks, and every opportunity he's had so far in pre-season coming on, and he's looked lively. He's looked, looked dangerous. He's hungry. He wants to score. And that's what you need. It gives us something different. He's very different to what Bradshaw and Nisbet are as players. You could argue that they're fairly similar, Nisbet and Bradshaw at a touch. Whereas Imaku's got that pace. He wants to get on the shoulder of a defender. He's got the running in and the legs in him, isn't he? So I don't think. So I'm going to ask you a question. I don't think SA will get the nod over Fleming. I think Fleming's an obvious starter. But if Fleming was to go, is it too early to start with SA and him coming as cover? I don't know. Just going back a little bit, our fellow podcaster Stephen Jones mentioned here about good point actually. Could you really see Millwall risk losing out on £10 million because of a friendly? Fortuna gets a cut of it, remember. And they will want their money as much as us.
Don't know. I mean, and it's a good question, Stephen. I think the thing is, people make a lot of assumptions on things that they're not actually equipped with the knowledge of. So what I'm saying is, how do we all know for sure that there is a sell-on fee with Fortuna? For sure, 100%. And let's be honest, we don't. We might read certain things. Yeah. But neither of the two clubs have said that there is. So we're assuming that there is a sell-on fee. And then, of course, if there is a sell-on fee, then absolutely I would agree with Stephen that I can't see why the two clubs would risk it. But we don't know that for sure. And I also think that the other thing as well is if the deal is done with Burnley already, then there is no risk to it, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Richard Mitchell, chaps, he said, while we keep Fleming, if he's going, surely he would want to be with his new club ASAP, not 2 weeks before the start of the season. Great point. If you're going to sign for Burnley, why would you want to miss out on pre-season games with your new club, your new players, and stay behind? So a great point there from Richard. Perhaps maybe, he's not going. Maybe we're just speculating again and we're thinking so for nothing. But at the moment, he's a Millwall player. Obviously, it's no secret that Burnley have put offers in for him. I think Lazio even be sniffing around a little bit. But as it stands at the moment, he's a Millwall player. We haven't heard anything different, and that's as far as it goes. Another question here. Sorry, forgetting Watmore can also play number 10.
Mate. Watmore has looked very bright in pre-season as well, hasn't he?
Yeah, yes. He looks again at another level, isn't he? Again, he's kind of whatever's happened in the summer. He's come back with full of energy, full of beans, and he looks lively. He looks up for it, doesn't he?
Maybe it's just a case of having a pre-season with us, right? He come in at an awkward time. He was in and out of the team. I'm not necessarily saying he's going to be a guaranteed starter this season. I think it probably depends on what happens with Fleming, but he looks really, really good. And as you can see behind me, no, that's
your Watmore shirt.
I was.
Still got my Fleming one for now. I don't know how long it's going to be up there for. I'll probably be taking it down in a couple of weeks at this rate, but at the moment it's staying there. Yeah,
still there. Yeah. So I think Watmore is a super player. Cool. I think he's going to be vital for us. I've got Chris Brown says, Joe,
Yes.
not a fan of 5 at the back. I would prefer a 4 or a 3. What do you reckon?
I completely agree, Chris. So there have been times when we played 5, call it 3 at the back, and we've looked really, really good. But this has only worked because our wing backs have pushed really high up the pitch. And it's become like a 3-4-3 formation or a 3-5-2 formation, and it works. And we saw it. I keep using Blackpool as an example, but away to Blackpool, one of the last sort of couple of games of the season, we played really, really high wing backs with Shackleton on one side and Styles on the other, and we looked good. We looked like we had an extra man always in the midfield or the final third. We looked really effective. Now, the trouble with that is you're leaving yourself a little bit open at the back because you've got 3 at the back, and you've got to trust your wing backs to get back to cover. A prime example, I'm not sure if you were there, Chris, for the Charlton game. First half, I felt our defence was very much a 5-3-2, if you want to call it that. And we had too many bodies back. At times they had like 2 or 3 forwards and 5 defenders. And you just feel what a waste of time. And then the second half, with the substitutions with the new young lad that's joined us now, Wes Harding, he played really high up the pitch.
He did. He was playing as like a right winger, wasn't he? At times?
Yeah, almost. And then of course the left back, it was Brian, but then the Malachi sort of come on as well. We did kind of create this 3-5-2 formation. And what happened there? If you notice with Charlton, they played with 3 forwards or 2 wingers and a centre forward. Call it what you want, 3 forwards, and it was like a 3v3. And what happened was it becomes a duel then, because you've got our 3 defenders against their 3 attackers. And it's kind of like, okay, there's a duel between them lot, and the wing backs will come back and cover if need be. Now, it's risky to do that. But when you're 2-0 down and you're chasing the game, you have to take those chances, don't you? And I think it worked for us. We were on the front foot, and it made a big, big, big difference. The trouble is when we sit back, and we see it time and time before over the years with Millwall, if we sit back, we invite pressure. And we get hurt, don't we? So, yeah, I mean, it's a good point, Chris. All I'll say is, I think Gary Rowett's mentioned it as well. He's not going to stick to one formation. So you'll probably see this season he'll be playing with 4, then he'll be playing with 3, depending on who we play, would it be home or away against which team. So I don't know, what's your thoughts on that, chaps?
Yeah, I mean, so my view is first of all, I agree with you. I think we're going to be fluid, but I don't think we have the players to play wingers anymore because we've lost Burke, Bennett, Bury's going, and we've not replaced them unless we're going to. So I don't know how.
Unless Mackey features more, unless Mack with his pace.
Yeah, I don't think he's an out-and-out winger though. I think he's more of a forward, shall we say? But one of the things I was going to mention, and Charlie is the exact point I was going to make. So really good point, mate. Was we don't really at the moment have the centre backs to play a 5, in my view. So let me talk about what I mean by that. So when you play a 5, of course, you essentially compensate for an extra body up the field, with one more defensively. So therefore, those ones at the back have to get you up the field, right?
Yeah.
And they either have to be very good with the ball at their feet and ball playing to do that, or they have to be comfortable to step out with the ball. All right?
Yeah.
And none of those defenders are.
No.
So, for example, I remember a game last season, Cresswell, it was against Preston, I'm sure it was, and he was literally driving forward with the ball. So I think if we're going to play a 5, and I'm happy to be wrong, and we'll come on to one of the questions that's come on the chat in a moment, because I think it's really interesting, and hi to the Fortuna Sittard fans that have joined us. I think we need to bring in another centre-back. I think it's absolutely vital if we're going to play a 5. I'm not convinced on Hutch and Wallace anymore. They've been brilliant for us, but I think maybe it's time to rethink that.
Just while you're on that subject, chaps, got a good point from Chris Brown again in regards to Alex Mitchell. Do you think he can replace either Wallace or Hutch, who seem to be sort of past it slightly and slow?
Maybe, but I'm going to be honest. I personally, and I'll be interested in your view, Joe, I've personally not seen enough to make an informed decision on Alex Mitchell. What I've seen of him, I think he looks okay, but we're talking in pre-season games against teams that are a lower standard than us. So you would expect him to look okay.
Absolutely.
So I don't know, mate. I don't know what you think. The fact he's not been loaned out yet either suggests he's going to be part of the squad.
Yeah.
We're waiting to bring someone else in.
Yeah. See, I thought he looked really good against Sutton in the away friendly. He looked really assured, and they were fast, they were physical, and he looked really, really good against them. And I said it on the last show with the guys recently. I think, although it was only half full, I think the Den looked a little bit too much for him. I think he felt a bit intimidated with the fans. And it's like he came on in the 65th, 75th minute, I think it was, and he looked like he was a little bit intimidated by the occasion slightly. And that's how he's got to snap out of himself. He's got to be, assertive and commanding. And he did grow into the game a little bit, but just the first 5-10 minutes, he looked a little bit nervous. So all I say is if he gets any more opportunities, he's going to have to kind of go for it and take the opportunity with both hands. He's got 1 year left on his contract. We know how ruthless Riot can be. If he doesn't impress this season, he's out the door, and I'm sure he will want to do everything he can to take the opportunity when it's there.
100%.
Great question here from Fortuna Sittard. Good to see you guys. Looking forward to tomorrow's game. Hopefully we'll get a nice bunch of Fortuna Sittard fans there watching. It'll be a good occasion. Both sets of fans adore Zian Fleming, and we hope it'll be a good occasion. I'm sure Zian will be really pleased to see his former team's fans there. And it'd be a pleasant occasion. Let's hope there's loads of goals. Let's hope that it's not a nervy affair. Let's not be defensive. Let's go out there and express ourselves and have another good game. It'd be quite good to get Fleming playing 45 minutes for Fortuna and 45 minutes for Mill. That'd be a nice touch, wouldn't it? But he mentioned there's 300 fans coming over to London. So that'd be good to see you. I'm not sure if your away fans are allowed to mix with the home fans before the game, but if you are allowed, please come over to the Blue Bus and have a beer with us if they allow that to happen. There has been times in games where away fans are allowed to kind of walk through and mingle with home fans. It has happened in the past, so let's hope that that happens. If it is okay, then I encourage all you Fortuna fans to come over to the Blue Bus, grab yourself a beer and have a chat with us, and it'd be interesting to get your thoughts on Zian, and we'll do the same, of course.
We'll also be really interested to get your thoughts, and if there are any other gems, hidden,
any fast defenders, any fast centre backs you can share with us.
I've been banging on about this Vito Van Crooy for a long time, so I'd be interested in Fortuna fans to hear what you think about him. I've heard he's available and wants to leave. Whether he's within our price bracket or not, I don't know. But it'd be interesting to get your view on that. And be great to see you tomorrow. Joe and I will both be there. Exactly.
Next topic we want to talk about is so the signing so far this season, chaps. We're hoping there'll be a few more to come, but initially, just start off with. What would you say? Are you pleased? Are you happy? Are you not happy with the signing so far? What would you make of them?
I think overall, I'm pretty pleased. To be honest, with the signing.
Just look at that Fortuna's message there. Apparently, they rent the pub. I don't think even Millwall have done that on a away game ever. We've taken over many pubs in our away matches. We've never actually rented the whole pub out to ourselves. So. Fantastic. If you can share with us where that pub is, Fortuna,
we'll
let us know, and maybe a few of us go and meet you for a cheeky pint before the game. So let us know in the comments. Sorry, chats, what are you saying?
No, I think the business we've done so far is good. I think just quick sort of 30 seconds on each of them. So Nisbet, I think we touched on. I won't go into any more than that. I think he is either going to be the bargain of the century. Or a complete flop because of his injury is going to come back. So I don't want to tempt fate, but that's I think with Nisbet. I think that Joe Bryan brings obvious quality and experience. I actually think he had a really poor first half against Charlton, if I'm honest. I thought he lost out a lot of aerial duels, and you could tell he was getting a bit frustrated. But that aside, he's proven at this level, and I think as long as he finds his hunger for football again, I think he's going to be a really shrewd addition. Denor, not going to sit here and lie and say I know loads about him, because I don't. I've watched a highlight reel and I've seen him play for 45 minutes. Liked what I saw. Remains to be seen. I see him probably as Saville's longer term replacement, not replacement now, but longer term. And I think what Wes Harding brings, not going to lie, I was kind of underwhelmed by that signing, but I think he brings some welcome competition for Danny Mack.
He's very versatile as well, isn't he?
Very versatile. I think he is a bit of a leader. He's athletic. And I think that he's hitting the peak of his career, and he probably wouldn't have cost the earth in terms of wages. So actually, it makes sense. I still think we're 3 or 4 short. We'll come on to that in a moment. But what do you think, Joe? How do you think the signings have
so
gone
far?
So far?
Yeah, I mean, I think the only way you can look at it is, who we release, who's gone, who we brought in so far, and are we better off for it? Or are we worse off for it? You think about, forget the loan players, because obviously you look at the loan players like Cresswell, Ollie Burke, Shackleton, Styles. Is that all of them? So there's quite a few there, and they were decent for us last season. Okay, Burke, bit 50-50. We were a bit split on Burke.
Towards the end of the season, Burke was very good. He was. Yeah. He was our most effective forward, without a doubt.
Absolutely. So take away the loan players, because I'm sure we'll probably dip into the loan market soon as well. I'm sure there'll be a couple of.
It needs to be bloody soon, doesn't it?
It has to be bloody soon, yeah. But you look at the players we've released. So we let go of Bennett. And who else we let go of?
Malone. Obviously, Bury's gone.
Yeah, although I think he's going to go on loan now, only for a season, I heard. So they might let go on loan to Oxford, I think they said. I'm not sure that's going to happen or not.
He's gone, though, so...
Possibly, yeah. So you look at Brian. So Brian is a like-for-like replacement for Malone. In my eyes, I know he had a bit of an iffy game against Charlton, but I still think he's a level above. He looked quality against Sutton, and we know he's a decent player. And then you look at Nisbet coming in. Yes, we lost Mason Bennett, but we've got Nisbet coming in. I think Nisbet's a far better player than Nisbet. So on the whole, so far, I think we're slightly up. You've got Wes Harding as well as another player that's come in, and you've got Denor, which I think again is a decent sign. Again, we haven't seen much of him.
In theory, you could say replaces Shackleton in a way, right?
Yeah, but again, Shackleton being a lone player, him being a permanent signing, we've got a better squad, so to speak. Now let's hope we can go into the loan market and probably bring in 2 or 3 quality players that are going to strengthen our team. So yeah, I think the answer to your question there is I think we just seem to be a lot stronger. I think one area, and I think Chris Brown's picked up on here as well, is the goalkeeper situation. Now, what's the situation there, chaps? I mean, is Gary Rowett really going to start the season with Long in goal? I mean, there's no more rumours to talk about any other players. We had Travers. Is it Travers from Bournemouth?
Not Travers, yeah, he's gone to Stoke.
And that's now he's gone to Stoke. So there's no more rumours of any other goalkeepers at the moment. And like you say, we're very close to the start of the season. So what's the crack there? I mean, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it looks like George Long will start the season in goal. And I think that if it was down to me, I would definitely have liked to bring a goalkeeper. However, what I would say is when you have a limited budget, and we had to bring in other areas, a goalkeeper wouldn't have been my absolute number one priority, because we still have Bart at the club. Let's not forget that.
Yeah.
And Bart, Bart's one of the best goalkeepers we've had in years.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that.
When you're talking out and out goalkeeping, shot stopping
the ball from going in the net.
Exactly.
Which is what a goalkeeper is.
Yeah.
However, what I would say is this with George Long. I think that if you listen to my post-match chat with chaps things from last season, the only time I criticised Long was the Blackburn game. Interesting point from David in the chat there. And what I think is everyone deserves a clean slate.
Yeah.
Would I have preferred another goalkeeper? 100% yes. But I think what we do now is I think Long has become a boo boy, and it's almost become sort of popular to just jump on his back and slate him and stuff like that. Yeah. Some of the things have been put on Twitter are very, very funny. I'm not going to lie. But I think if he does start against Middlesbrough, there's absolutely no point getting on the bloke's back. He's going out there to do his best for Millwall. If he messes up, then he's out the team. Rowett has clearly said he's looking for another goalkeeper and that everything's up for debate. So let's see what happens. And clearly we wanted Travers, but Stoke seem to have absolute money to burn. Some of the business they've done and some of the money they've spent and some of the offers that they're putting in for other players, they've clearly had a bit of a cash injection. So we're just not there. But Joe, what's your view on George Long? How comfortable do you feel about the fact that he's likely to start against Middlesbrough?
You know what? I think George Long and guys in the chat, feel free to comment and slate me or agree with me, however you want to do it. But I think he's got loads and loads of qualities. I think if you see enough Millwall games last season, home and away, there's times he's pulled off some amazing saves. Thing is, those saves are normally from close range. His reaction, his shots to be from close range is really good, and he's done fantastic. His kicking's great. His distribution's good. He very rarely messes up when the ball's at his feet. His distribution's not bad either. I mean, we've seen him how many times he picked up the ball and he's hit those long field passes perfectly and set up Ollie Burke at times. And he's really good. It's just from long range. Unfortunately, he doesn't seem to be able to kind of almost gauge the flight of the ball or something. I don't know what it is.
He can't project himself either.
He can't.
He's an absolute unit, but he can't seem to doesn't move his feet.
I don't know whether it's his positioning. I just don't know whether he just can't physically get to it. I don't know what it is. But even against Charlton, there's a long range shot at the edge of the box, which was going over, but he looked beaten. It gets to a point now, I think, as a Millwall fan watching him, your heart's in your mouth every time there's a shot from the edge of the box. And it's a shame. And I agree with you. Sorry?
It's how we felt with Archer.
Yeah, and I agree with you. We need to back him. We need to give him confidence. No point us slating him. And I'm sure we don't slate him at that grounds. I haven't heard fans giving him abuse behind the goal. They shouldn't do. If they do, that it's out of order. But I can't see that happening. So he's got all the confidence from us to kind of do well. I just hope he doesn't read all the shit on social media, because that can't do his confidence any good at all,
No, agree, mate. And I think, but what Danny's put in the chat there is, let's be honest, if you're a scout,
you're
going to look at this and tell your team to take long shots, aren't you?
Absolutely.
So I think at the end of the day, it looks like he's going to start. So regardless of what we think, it doesn't really matter. I think we just need to give him the chance, not get on his back. And if he cocks up, I do think he'll be out of the team. Genuinely, I do. So ultimately, that's it. And I have also a feeling that I would imagine we've spent our budget pretty much now, other than maybe a few loans, as you mentioned, Joe. And I think for us to have the money to spend on a goalkeeper, whether that's loan or a permanent signing, I think we needed Zian to move on. Yeah, which is why I think we were priced out of Travers. So there we go.
No, you're right. So again, just moving to tomorrow's game. I mean, would this starting lineup tomorrow, in your opinion, be anywhere near the starting lineup which we play against Borough next Saturday, or do you think Gary will still tinker a few sort of players and rest some? Because obviously, it's notable that Mitchell and Watmore didn't start against Charlton. Make of that as you will.
Come on, did he?
He didn't. No. And there was an article out today which I didn't get a chance to read because I was busy at work. But there was a part there where Gary Rowett tried to explain his reasons for not playing Watmore. Again, anyone in the chat there, if you had read that at all today and you can share that with us, please do so, because it'd be interesting to know why he didn't play, whether he was carrying an injury or a knock, or who knows. We know Danny McNamara had a baby boy, and that's why he wasn't picked, wasn't in the squad to play. Some congratulations to Danny McNamara and the birth of your son. But yeah, just interesting really why he didn't play at all, why he didn't feature, because he'd been doing really well up until now, Watmore, and he's been looking really, really good. Everyone's calling him like the ginger Messi at the moment. So it's quite.
David's just put in the chat he had a knock, so maybe that's why.
Right. That'll be it then.
That would make sense, because it would be odd for him not to get any minutes, wouldn't it?
That's right. Yeah.
What would you? So Joe, based on, let's assume everyone's available other than Honeyman, who we know's out for a little while.
Yeah.
And there's no more signings. What would your 11 be for the game against, tomorrow, but ultimately I'm referring to Middlesbrough.
Are we going with the formation we think Rout's going to go for, the 5-3-2?
You can do it one of two ways, I suppose. You can either do it what you would pick or slot players into the formation we think Rowett's going to go with. So let's do what you said. Let's go with 3-5-2 because I think that's what we're going to play. Okay. So we might as well get used to it.
Yeah. I mean, personally, I think I'll go with a 4. Only reason being is that Murray Wallace hasn't looked that great in pre-season. And he's only 30. Everyone's saying he's past it. I mean, fuck me, he's 30. Like, players don't really pass until they're 32, 33. That's when you start seeing a decline in them. A bit like Hutch, unfortunately. But something's not quite right there with Murray at the moment. He just seems like a yard off the pace a little bit. But personally, I think if you've got to go with a 4, I think your safe bet's go with Cooper and Hutch at the back. And then go with Danny McNamara right back, Joe Bryant left back, maybe Saville Mitchell in the 2 DM roles, and then the 3 behind the striker. I'll go with Watmore on the left, Esse on the right, Fleming in the middle, and then Nisbet on his own. If you're using the same formation as we did last season, that 4-2-3-1, that's what I'll go with. If you're going to go with a 3, then it looks like Murray Wallace will have to play at the back.
No.
Well,
let me just jump in there because I would play. No. I would play 4. I think he's going to play the 3 or the 5.
Yeah.
But you can still not play Murray Wallace. So what I would do if I'm going to play a 5 is I would play on the right. I'd play Leonard.
Yeah.
Because I think he's the only one that can drive us up the pitch. And there was a comment in the chat. I think it was from Charlie who said that. So I play Leonard on the right. I play Hutch in the centre because I think if you play him on either of the sides, he's lost all pace. So I think he needs to play in the centre. Then I play Cooper on the left, who, if you remember, about 18 months ago, when we used to play a 5, Cooper played on the left and he used to overlap the left back. Right?
Yes.
So he's got that forward. So I play him there.
Yeah.
Brian and Danny Mack would be the two sort of wing backs.
Yeah.
Mitchell and Saville, to me, until they do something wrong, they keep their place. I think Billy Mitchell, I'm assuming Tony means Billy, is an absolute must to start. I think he's looked mustard in pre-season.
Yeah.
I think that I'd then play Fleming in the 10, and then I'd play Bradshaw and Nisbet. So the players that would miss out is Watmore and Esse for me at the moment. But they're good.
And don't forget, you still got Esse come off the bench, and Mack could come off the bench. You know, Denori, if you need some fresh pair of legs in midfield, go around chasing people's ankles. You know, we've got some players there that we could come on and make a difference. So I think that'd be someone. I guess that'd be something to sort of look at tomorrow. And I think that's why Wright's got to start his strongest team tomorrow, because we need to start thinking about the Middlesbrough game. And if he's set on this formation, he's got to pick a team that he feels he can trust next Saturday.
Don't say that, mate, because you know full well Vogie will start if that's the case.
Fuck, we haven't mentioned Vogie, have we?
No, because he's not.
In my head, he's fucking gone. In my head, he's not in the team.
He's gone.
I'm not even thinking on the fucking bench, let alone starting. Jesus,
do you know what it is? He's that.
Can we give him to Fortuna Sittard as a bit of a present? Yeah, thank you, present.
Little gift.
Yeah, his little gift bag. We sort of tie a little bow with a little Vogie inside there and pass it over to them. So there you go. Thanks a lot. Lovely seeing you. Take him with you. No.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we see Vogie start. Honestly, I wouldn't, because
he started against Charlton, didn't he?
He started against Charlton. We know how much Rowett trusts him. I think because that was the word you said that I picked up on.
Yeah.
And I think that I wouldn't. As I said, we both said be nowhere near the first team, but maybe Rowett sees something we don't. You know,
it's good point, Danny.
Yeah, it's true. Danny's right. It is, and you know, bemusing, obviously. But
chaps, could you answer this one? Chris Brown saying, "Give me a good reason why 4-4-2 is not a good formation. I can't see anything wrong with it."
No, I can't, because I would play a 4 at the back. I agree with Chris, especially at home. I don't mind a 5 at the back when we're playing If we
But
go
I
away
think
to
what they're
Leicester,
saying is it's a 4-4-2, as in like straight lines, 4-4-2, the old-fashioned kind of formation. I mean, there's an argument to say that football's changed. Yeah, not many teams at the moment in the Championship play 4-4-2. You might find it in the lower divisions and lower tiers, but in the Premiership and the Championship, you don't get many 4-4-2 formations. And there's that risk of it. If you play it, you kind of get outplayed, don't you? By being overrun sometimes,
Yeah. We don't, mate. We don't have the players to play 4-4-2 anymore. We don't have
no wingers. Exactly, no pace.
We can't. I've always feel as though all good Millwall teams have two up top.
Yeah.
When we look at successful partnerships over the years, before my time, Joe, but not yours. Obviously, Teddy and Tony Cascarino.
The good old days. I'll tell you what. The thing was, again, I was talking to someone the other day about this on Twitter, and you think, how would Millwall's team back in 88 compare? How well would they do against our team today? And as good as they were a physical side, very direct, 4-4-2, lots of running. But again, the game's changed now. Yeah, the boys, the team we've got now, they're playing, the balls are playing on the floor quite a lot, some good intricate passes, and I think this team now is probably better than that team. But yet, in those days, the formation suited us. Cascarino Shane was scoring goals for fun. We had Hurlock and Bradley in midfield, winning all the tackles, making things happen, But like I said, football's moved on, and we can't sort of think too far back. They've got to think forward, and football's all about pace now. It's about pace, about technical ability, strength, and that bit of flair that you need to kind of open up games a bit and be creative,
And Mr. Nate's comment there is exactly what you're saying in terms of having the likes of SA and Watmore and Imaku. I'd throw him into the mix to come on and change games, especially as have I dreamt this, or is there now 9 subs as well? So
9 subs, but you can use 5. Is there a maximum of 5 substitutions now?
Yeah, but it just means to me, right, that the squad is still too small. Because although, and I agree with some of the comments that have been made in the chat, we definitely an upgrade on where we are last season. But let's be honest, we've lost more bodies than we brought in. So from a sheer quantity perspective, I still think we need a few more.
Yeah, especially the loan players as well. I'm surprised we might in for 1 or 2 by now. I would have thought.
Maybe clubs are waiting to do their business before they're happy to release, some of our players. Some good comments in the chat about the good old days as well.
Just picking up this one here from Danny. Sorry, you clicked it already. Under McCarthy, Danny, I remember this era. McCarthy, it was almost like a rebuilding process under McCarthy. And I don't know if you've listened to the interview I've done with John Goodman a couple of months ago. If you get a chance to look at it, it should be on our website on YouTube. And he talked about that era under McCarthy, how he sort of changed the way that Millwall played, because up until that point we were very much 4-4-2. And I think what McCarthy done, which I don't know if you remember this at all, he changed the midfield into a diamond midfield, chaps, playing a DM, attacking midfielder, and 2 kind of like box-to-box midfield, but no real out-and-out wingers. And the reason why he chose this because he played a game against Swindon, and Glenn Hoddle was manager of Swindon apparently at the time, and he was so impressed by where they overrun us in midfield and the movement they had in the team that he used it. And he had players like Danny said there, Roberts, Alex Ray, Malcolm Allen, and they were playing this, this top of the diamond position, and they were so good on the eye. We played some great, attractive football, scored loads of goals, and John Goodman was talking about this in the interview that we had the other day. Could that work in today's football? Probably yes, more so than the flat 4-4-2. I don't know what you think.
Yeah, I mean, you could have someone like Billy at the sort of bottom of the diamond.
Yeah,
Lemon at the top.
Yeah,
and then like
a couple of box to box.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if Saville's got the legs anymore to be box to box, but maybe. But Denor looks like he's got bundles of
some legs on him.
Energy, and I think this season's going to be massive for Billy Mitchell. And I agree totally with what Tony's saying here. You saw
through ball he done for
outstanding,
quality.
and it just shows you because everyone says, "Oh, Billy, don't pass forward." It shows you if players make the right runs to what Tony's saying, then it's possible, right? I think
do you know what I love, chaps? Was his composure? Like, he's carrying the ball out of defence, and 9 times out of 10, you would want him to just clear that ball, get it forward, get out of danger. But he carried the ball, he drove it, and he's always waiting for that right moment to pick this pass. It wasn't just a pass; it was on the inside of his boot. It was a slight little curl on it, perfectly into Nisbet's feet, into his run, and it kind of invited him to kind of take the shot on, didn't it? I mean, I'm hoping for big things from Mitchell this season. I mean, he done great last season. He's only 21 years of age, still young, but I think he'll have another good season this season. And if he can move another level from last season, what a player have we got on our team there, you know?
And could he be the next one that is worth 10 million plus?
I think so.
I think another good season, and maybe adds a little bit more, numbers to his game. And what I mean by that is either goals or assists.
Yeah,
I think he could easily. I think he's class, and I just think that's the only bit that's missing. A few more assists, a few more goals, and he's a 10 million pound player. I genuinely believe that.
Absolutely. Guys, we probably got about 10 minutes left of the show, and there's quite a few of you on there at the moment, which is so great to see. It's the first time me and Chaps sort of taken over the Friday Night Live, and I don't know about you, Chaps, but I'm enjoying it. It's mate,
100%. We've done it 50 minutes. It's flown by. But
loving the comments coming through. But we've been told, guys, that we can only do it for about an hour, so we probably get told a bite by Uncle Mickey if we go past the hour mark. I mean, I'm happy to sort of like go on a little bit further.
Yeah, I am.
Get a slap on the wrist from Mickey for going over time. I don't know how you guys feel in the comments. Whether you're happy to stay on a little bit longer, we can carry on a bit more. But I guess we'll carry on as long as the comments come through and they're good comments. We can sort of talk about it and give some sort of topics of discussion, really. Good point from Danny there as well. The Championship's going to be really strong this season. I mean, you look at the teams that have gone down, like sort of Leicester, Southampton, Leeds. Yeah, these are 3 teams that are all going to be fighting for automatic promotion next season. I mean, I heard that Leicester just signed the young lad from Spurs for is it 8 or 10 million? What's his name? The former England international.
Oh yeah, as part of the Maddison deal. Oh God, not Ollie Skip. It's the other one.
Not Ollie Skip. No, it's the other chap. But again, it just sort of shows you,
signed Mavidi today as well. Steffi Mavidi, who 7.5 million. They've spent 5 million on a goalkeeper last week. And that's what we're competing against. That's what I'm saying. Like, everyone's sort of thinking, can we go one better this season, get into the playoffs? You know what? I think it's going to be really, really tough. I haven't done my prediction yet for Millwall. We do it every season where we're going to finish. But I'll be honest with you, I think if we finish anywhere in the top half, 9th or 10th, that's it, Daniel. Harry winks. Yeah, cheers. We could finish 9th or 10th. I'll be quite happy with that. Very quick one, guys. In the chat, if you don't mind, can you just put in a number? Where do you think Mill will finish this season? What's your prediction? Just very quickly on the chats, guys. Just put in a number. What position you think Mill are going to finish? We'll try and take note of these ones and see who can guess correctly. So if you do that in the meantime, while we'll keep chatting. We're doing that, Joe. I've got a question for you that's come from Stephen. Yeah. What odds are you giving me for Bogey 10 plus goal contributions? Another charity bet.
So just so you know, guys in the chat watching this. So Stephen Jones, my colleague on the podcast, we had a bet last season, and he said, "I bet you, I think it's like 20 quid, that Vogelsang will score 5 goals." I said, "I'll take that. It ain't gonna happen." And then, of course, after that, he scored a couple of goals. I think he got to about 4 at one point, and quite nervous there. And then we had the end of season awards, and the Millwall podcast team had Vogelsang and Murray Wallace on the table, and of course they threw me under the bus, and they started showing Vogelsang a video of me slagging him off a little bit on one of our shows. So I've had to kind of sort of like sweeten up a little bit and be a bit nice to him and sort of just talk about
stuff.
He's
a really nice guy, isn't he?
Lovely guy. And I said to him, I said, listen, when you're in those areas of front of goal, look for a pass. Don't go for a shot. Try and sort of find someone, pick out a pass. He's like, yes. Okay, I'll do that. Yeah. And I don't know whether he actually knew I was joking or not, but I was obviously winding him up. I said, don't shoot, just pass. And then some mention we've got a bet going on. So, of course, it's a little bit awkward. But that's, what Stephen Jones trying to allude to there. Stephen, I'll take your bet there, mate. 10 plus goals ain't going to happen. So if you want to do another 20 quid for charity on that one, I'm happy to do £20. And I'll say that Vogelsammer will not score 10 plus goals this season. And obviously, if I'm wrong, I'll give you 20 quid to your charity. If you're right, then obviously, I'll if I'm right, sorry, then you'll do it for my charity. So yeah, I'm happy with that. Got some predictions coming through, chaps, with regards to where they feel we're going to finish. So Chris Brown saying 9th, Danny being very bold, going for 4th, Alex going for 14th, Stephen going for 12th, Donna thinks we're going to secure playoffs. Gaza, I'm with you, Gaza. I think 11, 12 would be fair. Fucking Omar, he's on a wind up, isn't he? Fucking Omar must be on the shandies at the moment. So no, Omar reckons first. Ricky going for 10th. Yeah, I'll see that.
I'm with Ricky.
Yeah, James reckons we might finish 8th, so we'll fall slightly short. Daniel, great point there, mate. Hart says 2nd, Head says 8th. Mate, I'll go your head. I think you're spot on there. You're right, Chris, mate. Omar's definitely on the piss again, mate. It's Friday night. That's the only reason why he's not here, because he's fucking chucking down pints of lager at his local. Gaza, Vogelsammer hits the woodwork half a dozen times last season. He did for the first few games. Do you remember that? The first few games he started playing for us, he looked really lively. He was shooting from outside the box. He was hitting, hitting
there was a game he hit the woodwork 3 times, wasn't there?
Yeah. And I said to him, again, in the season war, I said, Vogel, I said, you remember the start when you first joined us, you had lots of shots and you're hitting the bar? He was like, yes. And I said, why you not try to do that anymore? You have more shots. He goes, I can't find the position to shoot. He's trying to explain why he can't shoot as much now compared to how he used to. So sorry for my impression. It's a terrible German impression. It sounds more, Welsh than German. But yeah, I agree with you, Danny. I don't think Vogel will score many this season. I'm going for 3 or 4. I don't think it would we'll do that.
This is a good comment, Joe. I just want to.
Yeah.
It's just coming from Alex.
Okay.
So he says, "Who knows how the JV situation will affect everyone this year? Hope the players use his legacy for good, as it's the hardest league it's been for ages." So I think he touches on 2 really good points there, because I think first of all, again, it could be a positive and it galvanizes the group, or it could be something that the players really struggle with and there's too much going on behind the scenes that throws disruption into it. So I think it's a really good point. I think it'll play out either one of 2 ways.
Yeah.
And then I think the second point he makes, which is really, really good, is I totally agree. This is the hardest league it's been for years, because you've got a combination of factors. You've got, as you've already alluded to, the 3 teams that have come down are much better than the 3 teams that went up, except Burnley.
Yeah.
But they're all probably going to be around Burnley's level, or maybe at least 2 of them.
Yeah.
The 3 teams that have come up are better than the 3 teams that come down. I'll be very surprised if more than one of them go back down.
Sorry to interrupt you there, but I think Ipswich will finish above us this season. That's my.
We should have a bet with Benjamin Bloom, our mate, Benjamin Bloom.
Yes, well, we're going to try and get him down for the Millwall Ipswich game, isn't we? You talked about coming down.
Although I think typically they're both bloody
cheers, guys.
Tuesday nights.
Yeah.
Which is annoying. And then obviously so you got that, and then you've got other clubs that have recruited really, really well. So I think Stoke have recruited really, really well.
Yes. Yeah.
Coventry have replaced Gyökeres really well.
Yes.
You've got, and they haven't sold Hamer. You've got Birmingham, who have done some really good business for their level. And then you've got the likes of Sunderland, who will have that kind of continuity.
Yeah.
Blackburn have recruited a lot from the continent, so you don't know what you're going to get. So there's a lot of clubs that have spent good money. And don't get me wrong, other clubs will be looking at us saying the same. Oh, they've signed Nesbitt, they've signed Joe Bryan and stuff like that. But I'd be struggling if I had to pick 3 teams to go down at the moment.
I think Rotherham are cert to go down. I think QPR have got a good chance of going down. And there's always a surprise team in there, that might go down with them as well. Could it be someone like a Cardiff or even a West Brom? They've had such financial problems recently, can't they? You can see that potentially happen. Can you imagine that? West Brom going down and Jed Wallace getting relegated.
Well, there you go. Guess what Chris Brown saying West Brom will struggle due to finances. I don't think they've signed anyone, actually.
No. In fact, there's rumours that they might be trying to sell Wallace at the moment to try and get some money on him,
Yeah, agree. Omar's put a comment in the chat. I guess it's related to the comment I just made. I used to subscribe to the hardest league manager every season. I agree, Omar. I do agree, and I think we say that every season. But I know it sounds stupid. I genuinely believe it this time. I really, really, really do. I think there is the only clubs that I can see sort of self-imploding would be West Brom, maybe Norwich, because there's also uncertainty over their ownership. So Delia Smith's been there a long time.
That Norwich have made, chaps, as well. I mean, they've signed Duffy and Ashley Barnes. They've gone for real old, wily sort of players, experienced players, call it that you want to call it. And I think they've got some good youngsters as well. So whether or not that will work for them, having the experience and the youth, combining that, they could be a team that could be challenging. Or equally, like you say, they could be really sort of struggling this season because they haven't really spent a lot this season in the transfer market, have they?
No, it's true. I think Swansea could be one that struggled potentially as well. They've lost Joel Latabadi. I can't pronounce his name. Latabadio, who's a good centre half for them. They've also lost some of their loan signings. And I watched a clip, and it's just a clip, but I watched a clip of some of their friendlies the other day. They look diabolical. You've already mentioned Rotherham, who, as Gaza points out in the chat, have signed unplayable Fred Onyedinma on loan from Luton today. It just he was never going to play in the Premier League, was he?
Poor Fred. I feel a bit sorry for the guy. I mean, he went to Wickham, didn't he? Try and make a name for himself there, and kind of got shipped out, and then up at Luton, and now he's over at Rotherham. What can I say? But no, it'll be a tough season this season. There's no denying that, and which is another reason why we really need to sort of like get the right transfers in. I think we're not far away. Maybe sort of 2 or 3 players, but we need 2 or 3 quality players, not squad players, first team players. And the key thing, and I know we mentioned it right at the start of the show, was defenders. We need some pacey centre backs. Because my fear is that,
Joe? Like, so you said 2 or 3 players.
Yeah.
What do you think we need?
Well, I'm no good at naming names. Obviously, you're the guru when it comes to positions. I think we need centre half. So I'm happy with Cooper playing in the centre of the 3 if we're going to play 3. But we need to look at replacements for the 2 centre halves beside them. We need 2 fast, athletic, agile centre backs, all playing centre backs that can get back. They've got the pace to cover mistakes. We're pushing high at the pitch. At the moment, we look so slow, and we're not just slow, we're slow on the turn. Charlton, nearly tore us a new arsehole in that first half, didn't they? Just by the pace and getting behind us and cutting balls back.
They look decent, Charlton. I'll be honest, it pains me to say it because I can't stand them, but Charlton looked half decent. A good little bet for a top 6 finish, I think, in League One if they play like they did. And there's a couple of players. Their captain looked half decent, to be honest with you.
Good point from Elton Lyons there. I think Huddersfield missed out on that. Now under Warnock, I think they're going to do okay, but is he going to be good enough to keep them up? They're much of a yo-yo team. In 1 minute, Huddersfield are challenging for the Premiership, isn't they? Only 2 seasons ago. Then last season, they're sort of down there.
They're in the Premier League.
It wouldn't surprise me if next season they'll be up there challenging for a promotion again or in the playoffs. You just don't know, do you, with Huddersfield? Especially with Warnock in charge now as well,
So going back to that question, I asked you, Joe. Sorry, I sort of interrupted. So what players do you think we need? Wall Lions put in here a goalkeeper and a Ballard Cresswell type centre-back. I think you're on board with the need for the centre-back, right?
Absolutely. We need a goalkeeper. We need not just one. I think we need 2 centre-backs. I like Leonard, but again, if he can give us 30 games at least in a season, I'll say, okay, we've got good cover there. But with Leonard, he's too unpredictable. He'll play 3 or 4 games, 5 games, and then he'll go injured for like a couple of months. We need 2 decent centre halves to partner the back with Cooper. So we need a goalkeeper, 2 centre halves. I think in other areas, I think we're okay. I mean, obviously, we keep Fleming. we're okay. We can probably do 1 or 2 loan players. Be nice to get like another sort of striker, maybe a lone striker, or another left wing back, maybe. I mean, Malachi. Sorry, I keep messing the names up. Malachi looks really good. He looked really good for the under 23s last season as well. But again, is it a step too big for him this season in the Championship? Yeah, with Joe Bryan, that left wing back, I don't really trust Murray Wallace playing left wing back. So can we do another player there, maybe to challenge Joe Bryan? We don't give Joe Bryan a free rein, do we? Think he's got the place there?
I obviously think Malachi's decent though, right?
He's good.
He's the only one that hasn't been loaned out. You know, a colleague got loaned out, which I think is the right decision. You know, obviously Joe Wright.
Nana Boateng's gone out as well, loan, isn't he?
Boateng. So I think he could be one. I think for me, I'm comfortable with one centre back. I won't lie. I'm comfortable with one because I think between Leonard and Hutch on the other side, I think you'll get a full season between the two.
Are you happy with Hutch starting and playing every game though this season?
No, I'm not.
No. And he's our captain, isn't he? So,
well, is he? Like,
he is our captain. But I know you say the point is, should he be our captain?
Yeah.
Again, comment in the comments, guys. If it wasn't Hutch as our captain, who would you pick as our captain? Be interesting to get your thoughts, guys. Good point there from GC as well. Wallace will be third choice centre back. Is that third as in one of 3, or third as in he will fall much lower in the pecking order? I don't know if that's what it means by that.
I guess it depends if you play 2 or 3, didn't it, I suppose? Alex
Mitchell, Alex, he is, I spoke to his old man, didn't I, the other day? I'm pretty sure he told me he's like 21. 21. So he looks older. He's a unit. Apparently he used to be a rower when he was younger, hence the reason why he's got big shoulders. He's quite a big guy. And he used to be a forward, apparently, when he was younger. He used to be like an attacking midfield, like a winger or a forward. But as he got older, they kind of moved into a centre-back. I guess it suits his physique, maybe, you know. Saville for captain. Love that, Chris Brown.
Agree. And Wall-Line.
That's my choice. Yeah, I want that for Wall-Line, Saville.
Yeah. I love Juicy Jake, but to me, he's not a captain.
No, exactly. He's too quiet, Juicy Jake. I mean, he's commanding on the field, but he's not the captain. You need someone who's a bit nasty. Someone's going to, you know, get in amongst the other team and rally them up a little bit and talk to your players. You see Saville doing that.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Well, could Ziad Fleming do it? Captain. I mean, he's a leader on the pitch. You see him sort of talking. I mean, Rowett talked very highly to us about him, didn't they? Say about how he carries instructions onto the pitch, how he tells them what they've got to do, and he's correcting everyone their positions and stuff like that, you know. But I think Saville will be the obvious one.
Yeah, agree. And it looks like it's pretty resounding from the comments that people agree with Saville. I think, Joe, we need I still think we need a plan B up top. I really do. I think we brought Nisbet in, and I think that you touched on this. Nisbet and Bradshaw, they're not too dissimilar, really.
No, I think Nisbet's a better version of Bradshaw, I think.
Based on what we've seen so far, I think it's unfair because obviously Bradshaw had a super season last year and we shouldn't forget that. But based on what we've seen so far. But I still think we need a plan B. And whether that is someone who's pacey, that gives us that option, or someone who is a slightly more mobile Matt Smith option.
As a tall target man, I could come in. See, I like the idea of having, you know, a tall target man, a big 6'4" unit. You know, the last 10 minutes we're throwing everything in the kitchen sink at the opposition. To have a tall target man who come on, and be strong aerially and make things happen. It's good to have that as an option. I completely agree with you. We had that with Matt Smith when we had him there. But then we need pace as well. Who's that player that you really liked at Rotherham? Striker, your mate.
Bastard.
Where's he gone?
He's gone. He swapped with Fred, mate. He's gone to Luton. Ogbene.
Oh, that's right. He did go to Luton, didn't he? Well, fair play to him. That's a decent move again, playing the Premiership.
I mean, at the end of the day, Luton are basically prepping to have a good Championship squad next year. That's what they've done. You know, with the likes of Ryan Giles coming in. He was top assists. Yeah, one of the top assists in the league last year from Middlesbrough. They've made some good signings for a Championship squad. I'm not so sure that I mean, anyway. But Charlie makes a... Sorry, mate.
Who's there's the winger that we really liked last season? Did he get relegated? Went down?
Callum Lang.
Callum Lang. Who did he play for again?
He plays for Wigan, and he's been linked with Huddersfield. To me, I would love to sign him. He tore us to shreds, didn't he? There,
yeah.
But he might
Is he
be
still there? Is he still there?
He is still there. Yeah.
Right. Interesting.
He impressed me, as did Jack Watmore, who has been released. I would take Callum Lang all day, and I'd be very surprised if we're not. He fits the profile. He's not going to cost the earth.
Was Jack Watmore the defender? Sorry.
Yeah.
Centre back. Okay.
Yeah.
I remember he's quite young as well from memory, wasn't he? I think he's quite fairly young.
Yeah,
decent,
I think mid-20s. Mid-20s, yeah. But I love Charlie's point here, and I agree. I don't know whether we'd be able to afford him. I don't know whether he would come, because I'm pretty sure we've tried to sign him in the past and we've missed out, a bit like Jamal Lowe.
A bit to Bournemouth, I think, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. And obviously QPR on loan last season. But Kiefer Moore, if he's available and fits the budget, is a no-brainer to me. He's 30, so he's hitting his peak, shall we say? Yeah. But he gives a really good option, and I can see him working very well with the forwards we've got. He doesn't win pace though.
No, I mean, you mentioned pace there. I mean, could Imaku be the option with the pace up front, or do we need a better player than Imaku? Do you think he's up to the level? I mean, the way he took his goal against Charlton was fantastic, I felt. The pace he showed, and not just the pace, but it's almost like the confidence to kind of go at the goal and strike it early the way he did it. I mean, would he be a good fit for us this season? Do you feel we need to look elsewhere to get someone better?
I think time will tell, won't it? It's so hard to judge on pre-season. It really, really is. It's based on what we've seen. I think he should be in and around the squad, but he's the only player really that has pace in the squad anymore. We've lost Bury, we've lost Burke, we've lost Bennett.
Yeah.
Where is the pace coming from? There's a real lack of pace, which is why I keep saying it. But this Vito Van Crooy from abroad, he is, if the club could pull that off, that would be one of the signings of the summer. But by the way, just to caveat that, we've not been linked with him in any way, shape or form. I'm just saying he's the sort of profile we should be going for.
I know. There was also a rumour going around that we could be back in for Troy Parrott again. Now that's sort of died.
Not.
I know that's died down a little bit. So I'm hoping it's just stupid rumours on social media, and it's like they kind of go around like wildfire afterwards. But I think Preston wants out of Preston. I think for some reason he looked all right against us. I felt when we watched him
back at Tottenham, mate. Did Preston sign him permanently?
I think they did. I'm pretty sure they did.
Because they've signed Will Keane. We just put in the chat. They're trying to sign Tom Cannon back.
See, Will Keane, he looked really good against us, didn't he? He's that target man that you're talking about. But he's not just someone who comes as an impact. I think he's a starter. Having someone like Will Keane and Nisbet up front would have been great for us. The two together,
I quite liked him. Alex has put Cardiff, by the way, done some good business, could be a dark horse. Possibly. I mean, my view on Cardiff is they have done a good bit of business. If they can sign Kiefer Moore, very, very good. But I just think they're so unstable as a club. Like they had Lamucci last season, kept him up, did a great job, and then he was out, and they brought in a manager I've personally never heard of. So
I think that their problem with Cardiff is the inconsistency of the manager. They go through so many managers so quickly. We've seen it with Harris being there, Morrison. And there's been a couple of others, and I think that's going to be their downfall a little bit. You look at Gary Rowett. I mean, he's been with us. Is his fifth or sixth season now? This season, Gary. And I think it's only Mark Robbins that's been longer as a manager in the Championship with Coventry.
Yeah.
And I think you need that sometimes. You need that consistency. You need that manager's going to give them a chance to build a team, every season, because they want to try and build a team, improve the squads, and bring the right players in. And I think if you change managers so quickly, unless you've got millions of pounds to spend, then you're never really going to improve a squad, because what one manager has as an idea for a squad and how he wants to play is different to the next manager. So that manager's going to come in and just completely rip that blueprint up and start again almost,
Well, to Danny's point in the chat, if we did change manager, they'd have to sign about 6 wingers because we don't have any width. We don't have
Especially
any.
if they want to play 4-4 bloody 2 as well.
He's got rid of them all. Shall we do one more kind of talking point, Joe, and then we'll sort of wrap up?
Yes, I'm just conscious. I mean, we're going for an hour and 15 minutes, which is 15 minutes. We're in injury time at the moment. We're 50 minutes in injury, but I'll be honest with you, I'm enjoying it. We've still got quite a lot of numbers in the chat room at the moment, which is really good to see. So I'm pleased that everyone's still with us. And guys, we really appreciate you being with us. For one moment, me and Chris thought it would just be me and him talking on our own earlier. So the fact we've got 60 odd in there at the moment is lovely. And we're all one family. We're all Millwall, and we can all talk and discuss and vent whatever about Millwall topics. It's quite nice. We're all in together. So I appreciate all the comments coming through, guys.
Yeah, thanks, guys. And if it's something that could be something that we do on a more regular basis, if people enjoy it and get something from it, I will be joining you for a beer in the future.
Nice. I was just saying you're on an alcohol-free sort of period at the moment. Do you want to share the good news with the guys in the chat? The reason why you're drinking?
Good news? I'm not so sure. No, I'm I'm just I'm getting married, so I'm just off the beer for a little bit, trying to.
Hey, congratulations, mate!
Sort that and sort
when's a big day?
September. Yeah,
September.
I think I missed the Rotherham at home game, which I'm not happy about. But I suppose every now and again you've got to make a sacrifice.
Yeah. Weddings are on a Saturday, aren't they? From memory, it's been such a long time since I got
married. Mine's on a Friday. I managed to negotiate that. Yeah,
you did that so you can watch the Millwall game on Millwall TV or something, did you? So you can.
That's the one, mate.
Yeah,
that's the one. Well, it's in Greece, so you can do the international.
Oh, you can.
Watch the game. Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah.
That's the plan.
That's all right.
Thank you to the comments in the chats as well, guys. Much appreciated.
Yeah,
she's a lucky lady.
Chaps, there's been a one of these troll Twitter pages going around saying that and I, that we're useless. All we're about is hair and teeth. I mean, I don't know where to get that from because I don't think we are really, are we? I
mean, my nash is pretty big, to be honest. So. Yeah. Take it as a compliment, Joe. People only ever take the piss.
We've still got our own hair and we haven't got our own teeth still. Probably that's what... Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. No, good. Well, look, we're probably run its course, guys, at the moment. I mean, we covered lots of topics today. We talked about Millwall Charlton game briefly. We talked about the new signings with Nisbet. We talked about Fleming's situation. Fortuna, I'm not sure if you're still in the chat there, but it's great having you with us, and we look forward to seeing you Fortuna fans tomorrow. Don't be shy, come into the ground, go by the blue bus, mingle, have a beer with us. It'd be good to sort of talk with you, and we'll talk about the signing so far. We covered the size we need to bring in before the season starts, although we got long, and we looked at our starting 11 for Middlesbrough. So we covered quite a lot of things, guys, and we appreciate again all the comments that are coming through, guys. We watch every single comment coming through. We try to put as many as comments here and share with the rest of you guys. So if we missed out on anyone, we apologise. But it's hard trying to multitask. We're men, We're trying to talk, drink some beer and do the technical stuff on the comments as well. So. Thank you, guys. We really do appreciate it. And looking forward to tomorrow's game. Remember, guys, it's an early kickoff tomorrow. I think it's a 12:30 kickoff. Is that right?
12:30, yeah. So maybe see a few of you before the game.
Are you going to the Blue Bus tomorrow?
I'll have a diet water or something, mate. Yeah. I'll be there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Guys, come and find us. We'll be by the Blue Bus. So be interested to have a chat with you guys and shake your hands. And just be good to sort of talk all things Millwall and be interested to get your thoughts on how you think this season will go. So, look forward to the game tomorrow, guys. And if we don't see you tomorrow, I'm sure we'll see you at one of the games this season going forward, be home or away. So that's it from me. Anything you want to add, chats, before we wrap up?
No, just obviously first time we've done this, really enjoyed it. And thank you to everyone for the interaction. This show is absolutely nothing without your comments and your interaction. So really appreciate it. really optimistic for the season, and hopefully see a few of you tomorrow. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and just going back to Alex's point there, are these live shows a regular thing? Alex, just so you know, during COVID time, Mickey and Omar started this. I don't know whether you were listening or watching the Mill podcast then, but it was a Friday night thing. We couldn't go out, as you remember. We're all stuck at home and we're all kind of in our bubbles and whatnot. And they came up with a great idea to create these Friday night shows. And that's how I got involved. That's how Chaps got involved, because we quite often crack open a beer and do what you guys done and share our comments. And Mickey then brought us in and we started doing our own kind of shows, stuff like that. That's how it all started. Now, we stopped for quite some time. And me and Chaps been speaking to Mickey about bringing the Friday Night Live back again. So we'll try and do this every Friday night if we can at 7 o'clock, if we're available. If I'm not available or Chap's not available, I'm sure there'll be other guys on the podcast that can step in and do it as well. I love doing this. I think it's a great opportunity for us fans to express ourselves and talk things Millwall, and get your comments out and share your ideas. So we'll keep doing it as long as we've got the numbers and we've got enough people on the show listening and viewing. Then we'll try and put it out when we can. That's it from me, really, and Chaps. And cheers for this evening. It's been really good. I enjoyed it. Thanks again for you guys.
Yeah, thank you.
And look forward to the game tomorrow. All the best.
Bye for now.